There's been a few sales recently in Victoria that have been shared across Reddit and Facebook of sellers who bought in the peak of 2022 and are now looking at big losses. The biggest loss, over $1 million or 25% of the original purchase price, was a luxury home in Oak Bay, but there's plenty of other examples, particularly when you look at downtown condos with similar losses. So I personally sold my own investment condo downtown, and I ended up taking a $70K hit since the last comparable sale in the building. In my case, and my mistake was, I didn't price aggressively enough at the start, and I ended up chasing the price all the way down. I should have looked at current market conditions. Instead, I was very hung up on that last previous sale, even though it was over a year ago. After several collapsed offers, the unit was sitting vacant, and I just wanted it gone, so I ended up accepting a lower price. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the last 30 days of sales data, over 500 homes sold in Victoria, and I'll show you which properties, like my condo was, are slow to sell, and what properties are still moving fast. The official word from the Victoria Real Estate Board is that the market is balanced. Reddit says a crash is coming. The Bank of Canada has cut interest rates to 2.5%, and unemployment rates are rising across the country. What's really going on out there? Let's get into it. I make videos like this with practical, hyper-local information about Victoria's market, so if you do want to see more videos, please hit subscribe. We'll start off looking at detached homes. The strongest areas are Langford, Colwood, Saanich East, and Central Saanich. There's good volume, low days of market, and sellers are getting the closest to their asking price in these areas. Homes here typically sell within 2% of asking price, and most of the time they're 3% over assessed value, and they usually sell within less than 40 days. A few micro markets across Victoria that really stood out to me for strong sales are the Gorge area and the Quadrant neighborhoods. They saw the highest number of over asking sales. The weakest areas are Souk, North Saanich, Metchosin, and the Gulf Islands. It's interesting that all these remote areas that previously blew up in COVID are seeing the biggest slowdowns now over the last few years. There's more chatter about work from home ending, and commute times are getting crazy right now, so maybe that's playing a big factor. Expect it to take at least 2 months or longer to sell your home out here, and also expect as much as 5% below asking price and several percent below assessed value. If we drill further into small neighborhoods that perform the worst, Southeast Sydney, North Oak Bay, and Salt Spring are seeing buyers negotiate hard there. It's interesting that North Oak Bay is seeing such a hit. South Oak Bay is performing a lot better. The strongest condo markets are Colwood, Langford, and Oak Bay. In all of these markets, condos are selling with less than 2% of asking price and also with less than 2 months. The weakest areas are Vic West and View Royal, and downtown Victoria is once again at the bottom of the list with 3% below asking price. Downtown also has numerous sales for 10% or more below asking and lots of sales at 75% of assessed value. I looked up the same data for the last 100 days, and actually there has been a slight recovery since the summer slowdown, so maybe downtown is starting to recover or trend a little bit upwards. We'll see if that trend continues throughout the fall. Townhomes are still very much in demand. The strongest areas are Esquimalt, Colwood, and Saanich East. The weakest is Souk, Broadmead, and James Bay. Again, interesting to see Broadmead and James Bay where detached homes are selling so strong and townhomes are weaker there. My theory is because much of the townhome stock in Broadmead and Oak Bay is older, we're seeing sales there, but big discounts on price, likely due to some renegotiation after the accepted offer. Most of these buildings are from the 70s, 80s, and 90s at best, so these are units and stratas that need a lot of work. I don't think the demand for townhomes will ever slow down, and even more so now that multiplex or these stacked townhomes are replacing vertical style builds. Developers are opting to build these kind of developments, which I personally don't think will hold their value as much as these traditional row townhouses. The pre-sale market is still pretty awful. I'm getting daily emails about unsold inventory in buildings in Vic West and Bear Mountain. They're offering realtor bonuses, extra parking stalls, or strata fees paid for a year. In Vancouver, there's 2,500 new condos just sitting empty and unable to sell. In Toronto, there's lots of stories about people unable to close in their pre-sales and facing appraisal shortfalls. Victoria is doing a lot better than these bigger markets, but it's pretty grim out there right now for pre-sale buyers and investors. when resale units in some ways seem a lot more attractive. Rental rates are also softening, which isn't helping the case. Rental rates are down 5% year over year, which makes the numbers much harder for investors as well. I do think it will recover, but it could be a few years for all this inventory to be absorbed. What are you experiencing out there in Victoria's market? Please leave a comment below. This fall is going to be very interesting, and we're heading into this market with over 3,600 active listings, which is a 10-year high. Government is a huge industry here, so no doubt the strike will have some impact on Victoria real estate, and it may delay a few people from making a leap until it's resolved. Please leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.